Hello again. Jesse here. Back when I was a kid, actually I was more of a teenager, the war in Nicaragua was in full swing, between Somoza and the Sandinistas. And of course, if you were any kind of journalist, worked your weight in old cigarette butts and used videotapes, you were down there, reporting on what was happening. Well, anyway, one of those people was a guy named Bill Stewart, and he worked for ABC News. And anyway, uh, he and his cadres, for some unknown reason, decided to approach a government checkpoint, and the steward decided that he would approach first and told his camera crew to hold back. And while they were holding back, they were filming the whole exchange. Well, the government soldiers told the steward to get on his knees and put his hands on his head, like he was going to be arrested. And while he was doing that, they shot him in the back of the head, killing him. Now, those soldiers didn't know that his homies were just up the street filming the whole incident. And then, of course, the damn Somoza government tried to claim that it was the rebels who killed him, even though, but they didn't know that the videotape existed. But when it came out, it pretty much marked the end of the Somoza regime. And there you go. Anyway, Bill Stewart wasn't the first news reporter to die in the field, and he certainly wasn't the last either. Indeed, anyone who remembers WikiLeaks remembers that video where those two news reporters from Reuters, I think it was Noor-Eldeen, I can't pronounce Iraqi, and Sadi Chimga, like I said, can't pronounce Iraqi. No, they were reporting on an incident involving the American soldiers and the Iraqi rebels. And unfortunately for them, they got into the crosshairs of a couple of Apache helicopters that opened up on everybody, killing both guys. And then the Americans at first didn't even, almost like they didn't report it. And even though they had the gun camera video. But then, as you know, that young kid, he gave the damn thing to Julian Assange, and he put it all over WikiLeaks, and everyone found out about it. Very embarrassing for the American government, that's for sure. And then, of course, there was that woman, Marie Coven. I think you probably heard about her, where she worked for the Times, the newspaper in England, and she was in Homs, and she got caught in an artillery strike and was killed, eye patch and all. But this is not about those people per se, or news journalism in general. No, this is videos about someone else who died telling the news. Gonzalo Lira. And you say, who's that? Well, anyone who's watched the Duran knows who he is. He would occasionally check in with those two Greek brothers and tell them what's happening. And unfortunately for Gonzo, he was reporting on the war in Ukraine on the government side. You say, which government? The one in Kiev. Indeed, he was primarily stationed in Kharkiv, which is up north, not too far away from Belgorod on the Russian side. But apparently someone in Kiev didn't like his reporting. So they basically locked him up on trumped up charges, claiming he was giving away government secrets, which he wasn't. And of according to Lira, they worked him over pretty good. Yeah. Had a bunch of bully boys inside the jail cell, basically curb stomp him. No joke. And then initially they released him on bail. And then he tried to flee the country, but he didn't have the proper paperwork, so he couldn't escape. And then they arrested him again. And this time they held him for new trumped-up charges. And while he was being held a second time, they clearly worked him over some more. Unfortunately, they worked him over so bad that he ended up in hospital with a collapsed lung. And according to Lira's father, Gonzalo Lira Sr., his son ended up getting pneumonia while he was in the prison hospital. And he died on the 11th of January, 2024. Now, I didn't know Lira personally, as I said. But the man, I can presume that he believed in truth, justice, and the American way. Yeah, just like Superman. Even though he wasn't from the planet Krypton and he wasn't impervious to bullets. Nope. And yet he felt his work was important. Important enough to risk his life. And he paid for it with his life. And fortunately, the world's become a much darker place now that someone like Lira is no longer in it to tell the truth and not some narrative. That's right. Well, he's in God's hands now. We can only hope that Julian Assange doesn't have suffered the same fate. Well, that's all I have to say about the old Gonzo. And that's my opinion.